Hi guys, it's Ricky and Mike, and we're going to be talking all about Ahsoka Episode 3 this week. How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay. Had some issues the past couple of days.
Oh, okay.
I kind of embarrassed to say. I've been seems like every time I go to a grocery store, to a department store, a convenience store, I'm always these ladies are always kind of looking at me like I feel like I'm kind of a piece of meat. I mean, up here, right? Up here. That's what I always say. And, I think my wife's a little, she gets a little frustrated with it. And it's just every time I get ready to leave a grocery store or any type of store, the cashiers are always checking me out. And it really, I feel like, don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend always and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe.
Hey, nerds, this is David with Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. We believe that pop culture is the mythology of our generation. There is a story, it is written on our souls, and that all of these myths speak to that story. And that is why every Tuesday I talk about Star Wars and Marvel and DC and Lord of the Rings and whatever nerdy things we can think of with my two sons, Sam and Nate. It is a 30 to 45 minute celebration of all the weirdness that we love so much. Basically, Mom said we couldn't talk about it at the kitchen table anymore, so we decided to start a podcast. We hope you'll check it out. It's on every podcast app out there. Tatooine Sons. That's Tatooine SONS.
Checking you out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No. Man.
Well, what are we talking about this week, Michael?
We are going to talk about Ahsoka. Yes, sir. Appalapsy. That's a new.
What are you saying? Maybe we should start that over again.
I don't know. Maybe I need to stop drinking this stuff. Oh, ask me again. And we don't have to cut any of this out. Go ahead. Ask me again.
What are we going to talk about tonight, Mike?
We're going to talk about Ahsoka, episode 3.
Yes.
Time to fly.
Time to fly. Is that the name of the episode?
Time to fly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I didn't
right.
even notice.
That's
Super short episode this week.
It is.
Only 30 minutes without credits.
And tonight's going to be a special night because, well, first I'm going to do a spoiler alert for you folks because we will talk about the content of the show tonight. So if you haven't seen it, go see it, come back and comment, or just be spoiled. That's all I have to say on that. So here is your spoiler alert. Can't be any more obvious than that,
It can't be. Now, before we get into that, do we want to do some nerdy news first?
Do we have? Yes, let's do some nerdy news. Let's do that. Let's get ready to do some nerdy news. So
it's time for the nerdy happenings of the week.
I mean, cut me off. That's okay. I mean, we got to get. It's gonna look really good in post, but that's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm not doing any editing this week.
No, we're not gonna. I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. I would keep all this crap in there.
You know what? It's funny is we forgot to play that little bumper last week, I cut it into the video.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Did you? See,
the audience would never know if I hadn't told them.
They would have gone along with it.
Well, really quick to start us off. I love box office numbers. So Gran Turismo comes in number 1. So that is that the second video game based movie this year to come in number 1 at the box office?
Yeah, Mario and Gran Turismo. So,
with huge, not actually huge, kind of pitiful numbers.
Yeah.
$17.3 million on the opening weekend. And I usually don't say the point whatever. I just say the $1 million. I had to do it this week. 17.3. Well, because Barbie came in at number 2 with $17.1 million.
Oh my goodness.
So only $200,000 separated Barbie from being number 1 again.
Was there any other movie that debuted this weekend?
There were a couple of other releases, but probably movies you've never heard of and nothing that got even close. So Super Mario Brothers. Before speaking of Barbie, this actually pushes Barbie over Super Mario Brothers for the number 1 domestic box office for the year.
Really?
Yes. So for like up until either mid last week or just over the weekend, Super Mario Brothers was still the top earner domestically for this year. And now Barbie has surpassed that. So Barbie is a titan. But Blue Beetle, Oppenheimer, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles round out the top 5.
Blue Beetle didn't do so hot, did it?
It did not. It did not do great. DC. But the people that I hear go to see it all say it was a great movie.
Interesting.
It has some Spider-Man vibe because young hip superhero, not hip, but young superhero. It's got some interesting things because it's a Latino superhero, and there's lots of apparently there are lots of in jokes for the Hispanic viewers. I've listened to a couple of reviews, and they talk about there are things. Not all the Spanish gets translated. So there are some jokes that if you don't speak Spanish, you won't get at all. Number 2, some of the jokes don't translate well into English, which that's a thing. You tell a joke in English and then you try to translate it to another language, and it doesn't always work.
Yeah, it doesn't always stick.
So there are some things like that apparently in the movie as well. But overall, it didn't do fantastic. But I honestly, I haven't heard anybody say it was a bad movie.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I haven't. I mean, a couple of reviewers, but that I think they're just bashing on DC. But it's easy to do right now.
I was gonna say it depends on who the reviewers are. There are a few reviewers that I don't follow. I haven't seen them like anything in the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Which I kind of think they have just decided, hey, you know what? When I hate things, I get great views on my videos.
Hey, maybe we should start hating things.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
So, not in other film news. Dune Part 2 has been delayed. It was originally scheduled to hit theaters in November 3rd of this year. I was excited about that. It's moved to March 15th.
Interesting.
So many people are speculating that it's not actually a film delay. They're not making changes or anything. It's not that the film isn't ready, but it's that they don't want to promote the movie without the actors. And they're hoping that the strike will be over by March so that they can get the actors to promote the movie. Which is
by
some
March.
people speculate. Yeah, I know. Some people are speculating that might be why Blue Beetle didn't do as well, because the actors weren't there to be able to promote the movie. So
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but that's speculation.
Yeah.
Because of this move, Warner Brothers has also made some other moves. I don't know if you're a big kaiju follower, but
No.
Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, has been moved from March to April. And because basically the Dune is basically taking its spot.
Gotcha.
So they don't want to. Warner Brothers doesn't want to have two movies competing against themselves on their side of the things. Also delayed is apparently a Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim animated film.
Okay.
Now they've moved it because Godzilla is now taking its spot of April 12th. They're moving it all the way back to December 13th.
Okay.
So that's a pretty big jump.
It's a big jump. It's a big jump.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie industry really have been taking a hit. I tell you, these past several years.
It absolutely has.
Years. Yeah.
Well, in some sad news, we lost 2 television stars this past week or over the weekend. Yeah. Bob Barker died at the age of 99.
Yeah.
So he came within $1 without going over.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But Bob Barker did die. He was the host of Price is Right for 35 years.
Wow.
And then Arlene Sorkin passed away. And apparently, this is something I didn't realize. Arlene Sorkin apparently was one of the actresses from Days of Our Lives for many, many years.
I didn't know that.
But our nerdy fans will know her as the original voice of Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series. And she died at 69.
Yeah.
So kind of sad news there, but that's kind of what's going on. In other news, and this is one of those, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
But the John Wick director is going to be heading up a Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill as the lead actor.
Now
I think this could be really, really good.
I mean, look at it's the role of The Witcher. Now I could see him doing it.
Henry Cavill is the king of the nerds.
Yes.
I mean, he plays video games, PC games, builds his own computers.
Yes.
He is Superman.
Yes.
He has been Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
He is, he is the Witcher.
Yes.
And now he's going to be Highlander.
He's a big tabletop guy too. I mean, he paints his own figures and stuff like that. He's
such an interesting dude.
Isn't he?
But anyway, I didn't even know this project was in development. But
I had
apparently,
no clue.
Apparently the project has been in development since 2016. But there hasn't been a whole lot of news about it lately.
Yeah.
So, but this is apparently going to be like a reboot. I'm not sure yet. I'm a little confused as to whether it's going to be a true reboot, meaning we're going to go
build on.
Well, if we're going to,
or we're going to just totally
this is going to be a reboot, meaning it's kind of it's part of that universe but different, or if it's actually going to be nope, we're replacing this is the character and now it's Henry Cavill. So I'm not sure which. It says reboot everywhere I've read, so it makes me think we're starting over from scratch with Highlander.
It's funny though, I keep hearing reboot. They kept saying the same thing with Futurama reboot, but it wasn't a reboot.
No, Futurama
I don't.
was just a starting it up again.
Yeah, I don't. But I kept reading reboot from everywhere, and it's like it's not a reboot. So anyway, yes.
Now, you had some news as well.
Did I? Did I really have some news? Oh, I mean, if you're a gamer out there, yeah. I mean, September the 3rd is Starfield. That's coming out. So if you preloaded your, 500 terabyte worth of data preload, yes, you can play it on September. It's a weird number. It's 150 gigabytes.
That's big.
Yeah, it's big.
I'd have to I kind of want to play this game, but
I do.
With a game that size, I'm going to have to move some stuff around on some hard drives.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's bigger than my WoW file, my World of Warcraft file.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and it's pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. And so,
oh my gosh.
So, okay, so
we are 12-year-old boys.
Yes, we are. Oh, I have no idea what what do we do next?
You had some Star Wars news thing, right?
Oh, I do. Yeah, thank you for keeping me on track. Yes, apparently Star Wars still now, Lucasfilm has now shared the official Star Wars era list, combining all the movies and eras together, everything from the Dawn of the Jedi, Old Republic, High Republic, the Fall of the Jedi Empire, the Rise of the Empire. What's the other one? I can't read because it's so small. There we go.
I'm glad you can read that because it's too small for me to read.
Okay. Yes, that's right. Dawn of the Jedi, the Old Republic, the High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Age of the Rebellion, the New Republic, Rise of the First Order, and the New Jedi Order. Apparently, that is now the timeline, and there's that.
The New Jedi Order, that is going to be, that's going to be the new.
I guess that's going to be the new
sequels.
The sequel of the one that.
Yeah,
the one where
the new Rey trilogy. Apparently, that's supposed to be coming out.
I don't even know if they're doing a trilogy. It's almost like that's what
I've heard trilogy, and then I've heard single movie. I'm confused. I'm not sure exactly what's.
Well, they're supposed to be doing 3 movies. They're supposed to be doing one of the Dawn of the Jedi. Then they're supposed to have one that has to do with, of course, what we're going to talk about today, which is we kind of call it the Mandoverse, which Dave Filoni is heading, and then they're going to do a movie that incorporates that I guess universe or whatever you want to call that, and then the one with Rey, which is a continuation of the sequels. So now, if they're going to build on top of the, the rebuild of the Jedi Order, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if they're going to do I don't know. Do you think, and maybe it's just me, do you think that it's too much? I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. So, I love the content. I just want to make sure we have quality content and we just don't crank out a bunch of stuff just for marketing. Yeah. That's my concern.
Yeah. I mean, you own Star Wars, you want to make money,
Yes, exactly.
So
Disney loves spending money. I mean, making money.
Yes.
So yeah,
Disney does love making money. Let's not kid ourselves.
No,
Disney does not create movies because the fans want them. Disney creates movies to make money.
Yeah.
And they know the fans will go see them.
Yes. And then they can sell the merchandise and all the other good stuff. That's the key.
Yeah. I don't know. keep making content, but if it's good.
Yes.
But if you can't make good content, just stop.
Well, I feel that way about Marvel and are you listening, DC? I feel that way about any type of franchise, I mean,
yeah, I'm never going to get tired of it if you keep it good.
No. Yeah, keep it good. Keep it good and just don't try to pigeonhole it and just I get tired when they keep recanting things. It's like, let's have some consistency a little bit,
Yeah.
If you want to recant anything, do it with the sequels. But
there is, I can't remember which director, but there is one of the directors of one of the movies from the most recent from the sequel trilogy from Star Wars that said, we really should have had a plan.
You think? You think?
Yeah, honestly, I think this is one of the few. This isn't what we're supposed to be talking about tonight.
No, but
I do think the sequel trilogy is one of the few times where, the company, Disney, Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, whoever, they at the same time, they had too much control, and also let the directors have too much leeway. There should have been an overarching story that we're starting here, we're ending here. Here are 15 story beats we need to hit. Now you go write this story and you direct it, and you have leeway, but you have to hit these points so that we can actually tell the same story, rather than having a movie and then changing some ideas, and then in the last movie going back and saying, oh yeah, none of that's true, it's actually this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't understand, but I guess, hey, we have a whole show ahead of us, so I think we better get some stupid news out of the way.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
It's the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Well, it's that time again. We talk about one of my favorite subjects, stupid news. Apparently, detectives said that they were on the lookout for a man with 3 parrots last seen wearing a black hat. That's right.
The parrots were wearing a black hat, or he was wearing.
No, he was wearing a black hat. That would have been pretty funny if the parrots. No, they didn't. No, man with a black hat. Yeah, not Johnny Cash. Now, the man is accused of robbing a McDonald's restaurant. That's right. The Fairfax County Police Department said the robbery took place at knife point around 8 a.m. Tuesday. Investigators said that he stole an undisclosed amount of money and then left the area in a Ford SUV. Officers said surveillance videos from the nearby business showed the man, who appeared to be between ages 28 to 32 and had a tattoo, which, okay, but 3 parrots on his hat? That's right. Police says ask anyone with any, if I can't talk anyway because the parrots, I guess. Police ask anyone who has information regarding this case, call their local authorities. If you're a stool pigeon, please also call.
Okay, before you go on,
yes,
I asked if the birds had the hats.
Yes.
Do you know why I asked that question?
I don't know why you asked why the birds had the hat.
You don't remember, but I remember.
What do you remember?
There is a really, really old, stupid news story you told where someone, I think it was in New York City, was putting little tiny cowboy hats on the pigeons. And no one knew who was doing it or why.
And they just showed up everywhere in town. They just showed up.
Sorry.
Oh. No. I was kind of wondering why you was asking me about that. Man, that was a long time ago.
It was that was an old story.
Was that even when we did video? Did we even do video then? Was it the audio?
Not sure.
Who knows?
Challenge to the audience. If you can find that episode,
yes,
you will win a prize. I will.
He will.
I will send you something off my desk.
Send it off his desk. That's right.
I'm not sure what it will be.
And he had a cold a couple of days ago, so that could be anything. Oh man, fast food restaurants are under fire again. Burger King must face a lawsuit claiming that its Whoppers are too small.
That's what she said.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Did you just prep this whole show so you can use that? Use that video.
Basically, that was the one thing I was looking forward to tonight. Oh. A U.S. judge has rejected Burger King's bid to dismiss a lawsuit claiming that it cheated hungry customers by making its Whopper sandwiches appear larger than they actually is. U.S. District Judge Roy Altman in Miami said Burger King must defend against a claim that its depiction of Whoppers on in-store menu boards mislead customers, amounting a breach of contract. I didn't know if I looked at a menu board and I ordered something and it doesn't look like it, that it was a breach of contract.
I mean, I have never in my life thought, the picture of that food on that menu board is exactly what my food will look like. There has never been any correlation in my brain with the picture on a menu to what I actually was served.
Yeah, it never is. I don't. But apparently, it's a big thing. And look out, fast food restaurants. Apparently, Burger King countered the delivering. Let's see here. Burger King countered the delivering burgers that look exactly like the picture wasn't required, but the judge said it was up to the jurors to tell us what was reasonable. That's what people thought. Okay. Burger King and its lawyers did not immediately respond to the request, and plaintiff's lawyers were not available to comment. Imagine that. And guess what? McDonald's and Wendy's are also now defending against similar lawsuits.
Somebody went lawsuit happy.
Well, you remember the last stupid news that Taco Bell was sued last month selling Crunch Wraps and Mexican pizzas that allegedly contains only half as much fillings as advertised. Each lawsuit seeks at least $5 million in damages.
Is it going to be a class action suit so I can get my share of that $5 million?
I guess the only thing that comes from this whole thing, I guess the gist of the story is go big or go home.
That's what she said.
Oh my gosh.
And that's stupid news.
This has been the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
That's all I wanted to do tonight. That was it.
You've been saving that up for days.
I've been saving that up. I was so excited.
Well, we're going to talk about Ahsoka.
Are we?
Episode 3.
I thought we were going to talk about...
Well, we're going to talk about space whales, too.
Okay. It's getting down and dirty.
Personal. We already gave you the spoiler alert, so if you haven't watched it, just pause now. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's on you.
If you skip the intro and you don't watch the credits, it's like 28 minutes. So go watch it.
My goodness, yeah, I was surprised how short it was.
Short. I know.
I mean, after watching the first two.
Yeah, the first episode was like 50 minutes. The second was 45. Like, what is the deal?
It felt like the first season of The Mandalorian, where I'm going, is that it?
Yep.
Which, if you got to do it in the last minute, that's nice to have. But, if you want a full night of entertainment, there you go. But so anyway, on that, so kind of where did we leave off? I mean, tonight it was called Time to Fly. And of course it left it basically from episode 1 and 2, which apparently, I guess you now have the master and apprentice, Ahsoka and Sabine together. And she's going through some very New Hope-y type of stuff that's going on in Ahsoka.
Yes, there's a lot of New Hope-y kind of things.
It's, and I don't know. I mean, we're going to be all over the place, but okay. Watching this, did it give you any kind of at all, or any kind of?
I'm not sure. Is that a good or a bad?
It's like it's almost like eating something and you don't know whether you exactly like it or not. It almost has this weird. I mean, I'm not saying.
I can see what you mean there. I can see what you mean. I did. So, okay. So I felt like this really felt like Star Wars to me, though. Just the space battles. I know there were lots of things that were kind of, that feels like New Hope. That feels like New Hope. That feels like New Hope. But it all made sense in context. I mean, we have, her going through some Jedi training, we putting on what do we have? I can't, yes. And her biggest, man, I can't see any of these little pictures. They are so small on my screen.
So small. Yeah.
It's not, you all don't know the struggle that I'm going through right now. Wanting to click on things. So her worst enemy this week was a coffee cup.
So
the whole idea that Sabine is is training to be a Jedi, she's not built to be a Jedi. Now, for all those people, okay, so this has been a big thing. Especially in Star Wars, especially in the sequels, the sequel trilogy. Big complaint was that Rey is very Mary Sue, meaning she walks in and she's the most powerful Jedi, and she's never had a day of training in her entire life. So, welcome to what you've asked for, fanboys.
The problem is, let's be consistent. Are we going to
have the worst Jedi ever?
My thing is that, okay, as much as I hate the M word, let's be consistent here. Okay. What makes up a Jedi? Now, I know in this, there was a discussion from, and I think is Huang. I'm going to call him Huang. With Ahsoka on this thing. And of course, he's been very critical of her. I mean, it's almost funny. It's almost like a supportive backhand, because he's been trying to help Sabine with the training. So I see some of that. And there's been some different reviews, whether or not she's really force sensitive or not. And there was a comment that Ahsoka said, to Sabine that the force lives in every living being. But then also
Yoda said,
but that doesn't mean that you're a Jedi. Okay.
Well, and he says she wouldn't have qualified for the training.
And of course, she said in return, well, the Jedi no longer exist. But she also said that I'm not asking her to be a Jedi. I'm asking her to be herself. Yeah. So there's a fight on the campus. Does that mean that she is training physically or combatively or some yoga, I don't know, some meditation type force going on, or is she going to start moving coffee cups around? That's my question.
Yeah, this is an interesting idea, and as much as as much as many people hate the sequels, one of my favorite things about the second movie, which is one of the most hated of the sequels, the second of the sequels, was the very end where you see the kid, the broom boy, as people lovingly call him or hatingly call him.
Yeah.
I actually liked that idea that there are people who were force sensitive who who are in such a situation that the Jedi either didn't get to them or didn't find them, or at that point, we basically didn't have Jedi.
Yeah.
We had Luke who kind of tried something, but that fell apart.
Yeah.
But you've got people out there who have this ability, but haven't trained at it, don't know, don't really understand it, but they can do these things and don't understand it. So I kind of liked the idea that, theoretically, anybody could be a Jedi, but some people were going to be better at it than others, which I really think is what they're trying to sell here, is that theoretically anybody has some ability in the Force if they train and allow it to happen. I think that's what Filoni's trying to sell us. Now, he also could be selling us, which this is something I've heard other people say, this idea that Sabine is Mandalorian.
Yes.
She's force sensitive and she could be trained, but because of her Mandalorian background, she's so closed off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the suit of armor. You put on Mandalorian armor to be solitary.
Yeah.
You don't show your face. You live alone. She comes from that background.
Yeah.
So this idea of reaching out into the Force is so foreign to her that she is having this block. Which that could be another option.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked about this in the last podcast. My thing is that if you have been dedicated at watching the Rebels and you've seen the series and the history with Sabine, there was no indication or anything that ever came up that she would be force sensitive. It was always Ezra being trained by Garrus Jarrus. And so that was the relationship there. That was the whole master and apprentice situation. Now, Sabine and Ezra are very close. And then somehow she ends up with his lightsaber. Now, there is some time that happens between the end of Rebels. I think it's going to be 5 years, if from my understanding, from Rebels to, there's supposed to be a certain amount of time, because that's the time
when kind of time gap there.
Yes. And of course it wasn't, if you think about it, it had to be a time gap because the war wasn't over yet when that happened. It was after the fact is when you see the Battle of Endor and all that in the fall of the Empire. So there's some story there in between. If you can, in this show, give me a little backstory. I mean, and there's some things I don't want to know. Okay, there's some stories that you don't need to explain. You don't have to talk about midichlorians and all that stuff. But
I really thought they were going to say the M word this episode.
But the thing is, if that's what you're basing it on, then figure out some consistency and go ahead and don't even have to use the M word. Just kind of, if you want to, then give us a little bit of something. How did all suddenly Ahsoka thought to herself, I need to train up this young lady? Let me know. What did she see? Was there anything in the Force? Was there anything? Give me something. And we may still see it. I don't know. Or they may just blow it off and continue to go in the direction that they're going. But I think a lot of fans want to see that because I know I do. Give me something.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to see. I want them to give us some kind of hint as to why Ahsoka said, she's the right person to train.
Yeah.
And just don't think I really thought we were going to get it when Hu Yang and Ahsoka were alone and talking, and he said she wouldn't have passed. I was like, and that's when I thought they were going to say.
That's when I thought they were going to talk about it. Yeah, and that would make sense.
I thought he was going to say, she doesn't have enough to have qualified, or even do the Luke Skywalker. She's too old.
Yeah,
too old to begin the training.
Yeah,
whatever it is, just give us
me something. Yeah.
I'm unclear yet as to why Hu Yang thinks she's not a good candidate, and why Ahsoka is so adamant that she's going to push her toward this. So I don't know. I'm a little confused. I want to know more. I mean, she can handle a blade okay.
Oh,
apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
But you see that, and I don't have a picture of this, but in the image, in the video, in the episode, you see he's got like these light tube things.
Yeah,
and there's like orange slices and kind of yellowy slices, and I can't figure out exactly what the deal is. Whether are the oranges like she missed? Like, was she supposed to slice through the yellow part?
Yeah.
I'm a little unclear as to how she did badly. But and she says, I'm okay with a blade because, I'm a Mandalorian and I've worked with so many weapons. That's just natural for me.
Well, and I mean, she
okay with a blade.
Yeah.
But he and Ahsoka have something very specific that she needs to be doing, and she's just not getting there.
Well, that was a show, folks, and I'm sorry. Anyway, no, and so, and we're not going to, we have to talk in detail. We just talk about certain things that really, struck me through this. This is continuation of my frustration of, I act like this is like a real life situation, but it's gut wrenching to see how incompetent the New Republic is. It's to the point where it's almost like, are you overdoing it? Are you over showing how just dumb the New Republic is? Because and I know the whole idea is to say, it's obvious. Hey, this is how the new order comes. But like the guy on here, Chancellor, there was a Chancellor on here, and apparently, and I can't remember the Chancellor's name.
I can't pronounce it.
He was kind of combative with General with Hera, and apparently I've never seen Star Wars Resistance. It's an animated series, and apparently he was in that animated figure in there, and I don't know. It almost has this feeling of maybe there's. Let's just say he's not very willing to help in many situations. And also, he was mentioned to Hera saying, "By the way, the chancellors are waiting for you." And he mentions his name, which she has this look on her face like, this guy again. So, and they cannot be convinced that. It's like in their minds, they think everything is just fine, even after what happened in the shipyard. Okay. You had Imperial sympathizers in charge of the shipyard, and they said, well, you captured them, right? Well, yeah, but they try to kill us in the process. They have weapons, and then their response is
obviously they're not the only ones.
And the other thing, their response is, but we have several, ex-Imperial sympathizer who signed a pledge to the New Republic. And it's like, really?
Because people can't lie.
No, they can't. No,
so part of me wonders, is this really how, Filoni would want to handle it, or is this one of those, okay, so in the sequels the Republic was so incompetent that the First Order was able to build itself.
Yeah.
So now I have to make the New Republic look stupid.
Well, and that's
in
what
my
and that's
show.
And that's exactly what I thought about, because Dave Filoni had nothing to do with the sequels, right. And so part of me feels like I think that one of my favorite scenes is seeing the New Republic fleet. It felt like there is empowering there. There's there's the cavalry. There's there's something I don't know, heroic and patriotic about the New Republic in that. And then, you have these wimpy senators, and they're, our people don't have the stomach for that. And it's like, do we,
and Hera pulls were you ever in a war?
Exactly.
Card. I mean,
yes.
And that's, we don't tend to get political around here, but that is part of even our political system. It's like,
exactly.
There are some people that are in some positions that, if they had been through some things in their lives, it might be better. They might have a better handle on how to actually run the government.
Exactly. Well, it was no different from the Last Mandalorian. I can't remember the pilot's name. I can't remember his name, but he was asking for permission to go to help. I can't remember can't remember where, Carl Withers was at, playing Rocky.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, they are just so bound and determined. But the other thing he said, there's better resources for a fledgling republic. Well, what are we talking about? This is a fleet. What do you mean? What is this fleet going to do? This fleet is supposed to be a defense force. That's what they call it. So why not send out a squadron and see what's going on? It's just, to me, it's fine that they make some mistakes, but not just completely look incompetent and stupid. To me, that doesn't sit well with me. And so
I'm with you. However, I will say it does make the fact that Leia is basically leading a new rebel group.
Yes.
That is outside of the New Republic.
Yes.
I mean, it honestly makes it more, it makes that make more sense.
It does. If we're talking about the sequels, yes. Okay. I get that.
Yeah.
And I was reading too, part of the canon of reason why, Princess Leia, Leia was basically, she was shunned because they found out that Vader was her father. So they didn't want to put her in political status. So, and there's some book canon and all that stuff there. But yeah, during this time, you think of, and I understand that, you don't have Han Solo, you don't have the original actors, but they're still around in this period. We're not talking about 10 years after.
Yeah.
There is still they're still there, something,
but they're kind of on the outskirts. We've got Luke on some weird planet, trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, and we've got Han traipsing around the universe somewhere.
But at that time, I guess so, maybe.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
But if you read the Heir of the Empire, of course, I know I'm going off of good writing, but they were
good writing that's no longer canon.
Yeah, no longer canon.
I know.
So anyway, I'm sorry.
I guess we are hating
Dave Filoni. I guess we are. Do we get? Hey, we might get more viewers.
Get more viewers.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this as much as we've talked about this episode, you would think a lot happened, but not much happened in this episode.
No, not really.
We had a training sequence.
Yes.
We had a political struggle.
Yes.
And then we have a big space battle, and space whales.
Yeah, space whales. So, I mean, pretty much, folks. I mean, that's it. Purgles. This thing kind of reminds me what they call it, the Eye of Sion, which is a giant hyperspace ring. It's very reminiscent of the Clone Wars. I know that Obi-Wan has a smaller one for his spacecraft. And of course,
I'm still a little confused as to whether or not that is a spacecraft in and of itself, or if something goes in the middle of it.
I keep thinking it's like a portal or something,
Are we going to see a big Star Destroyer hop into this thing and then shoot off into hyperspace?
I'll get a little Stargate on us, or a little.
I don't know. I'm a little confused on that.
I am too.
I do think it's kind of a cool idea that there's this huge machine that can make a leap that normal ships couldn't. Yeah, that's actually kind of a cool idea.
It's kind of interesting how they kind of this whole concept of going to another galaxy seems almost impossible. Is that what kind of comes across to you? I mean, you got Jean-Luc Picard just laughing, because I mean, I'm just kind of odd to me because they do have like jump drive, hyper, I mean,
that is kind of what I've gathered.
I mean,
through this season, they are implying that everything happens in this galaxy. We always make there's always the joke that it's a small galaxy,
yes,
because everything happens around, even though Tatooine is on the outer rim, everything revolves around Tatooine.
Yes, exactly.
You run into the same people over and over again in this little tiny galaxy.
Exactly. It's amazing.
But, that is kind of a thing in Star Wars. Everything has happened in this galaxy, and extra galactic travel hasn't really been something that's discussed much. So
there's a couple scenes I do want to talk about, which I thought was awesome. I love the Ahsoka on the ship with the lightsaber scene where she's,
oh my goodness.
I mean, I thought that was just
can I throw in another sequel thing?
I know exactly. Go ahead. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the Rey. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, when she gets, she's out there and, she's fighting, and then she gets stranded. I was really thinking, she's just going to Mary Poppins her way back into the ship, just like Leia did.
Leia did, yeah.
But Sabine had to come rescue her.
I was waiting for that point too. Just cast for the friendly ghost into the ship, yeah.
I was appreciative that they didn't do that. But exactly. I mean, it's interesting that they have, some extravehicular suits that are pretty trim and slim and, not super bulky. Which I don't know if have we seen that kind of thing before in Star Wars?
I don't ever remember, not live action. I mean, not on the live side. I'm sure that if I can remember, I'm sure there was something like that in the animated series, especially the Clone Wars. But I can't right now. I can't think of an episode. But
it sounds like outside of Leia, floating back into the ship, I don't recall anything. I don't recall very much or any. I mean, I guess there was one extravehicular trip on Empire Strikes Back, but they were inside of a worm.
Yeah, that's true.
So that one really doesn't exactly count.
Yeah.
It had an atmosphere. They were technically on a planetoid of some sort.
Yeah.
So there was some.
They did have their airline masks on when they came out, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other thing go ahead. What? Listeners are going, what are they talking about?
I was going to say, how did you feel about seeing a real Purgle for the first time in live action?
It looked really close to the one that I created in Photoshop, so I was really pleased about that. I did like the scene where there was this, where Ahsoka was being chased by Shin and her, baddies. They were
the space battle was actually really good.
Space battles was really good, and I really enjoyed that. And we got a little New Hopey where Sabine got to be in the little, the little rear pilot gun taking down.
Yeah, I was trying to find it.
I was hoping, I got one. Don't be too cocky, kid.
I know. I thought surely hope they don't go there, but I feel like they're going to. That did have a little bit of a New Hope feel. But I mean, with that in mind, it made sense that this ship has those kind of guns.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those. Why reinvent the wheel? Why completely reinvent the wheel when you've got a perfectly useful idea?
Yeah.
A pilot in a bubble cockpit gunner, situation.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's not, there's nothing, strange about that in that particular universe. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. One thing I noticed, there is definitely a lot of tension between Morgan Elsbeth and Shin Haiti.
Yeah, something like that.
Morgan and Shin. You can tell that there's Shin does not trust her. You can tell that. Yeah, Shin doesn't trust Morgan. I think there's a sense of there's lack of respect for her employer. I think.
Well, I was going to say that's the key word here. This is not a Darth Vader and the Emperor.
No,
this isn't even a Darth Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin. A command level process. This is, I'm a mercenary. You pay me money.
Yeah, exactly.
So I completely expect at some point they will become Shin and her master will both become disgruntled about something and either turn or just leave.
Yeah.
Now I am more curious about no, not that guy. This guy.
Yeah.
So, okay, you said you told me who this was, and that he was supposed to be a character from one of the other animated shows.
Yeah, he was on Rebels as like one of the. Apparently, they kind of changed him a bit. Well, he was supposed to be under the command of a Grand Inquisitor, not Grand Inquisitor, one of the Inquisitors.
Because some odd things I've read online, and I don't know if you've read or heard these. Some people are speculating that might actually be Ezra. And when they say that, it's unclear as to whether or not it's Ezra under Thrawn's command, or if it is Ezra on a double agent kind of keep your enemies closer kind of situation. But maybe they're completely crazy. But I think it is interesting that we keep seeing so much of him.
Yeah.
And we know nothing about him.
Well, I mean, if they do that, then they're recanting the whole thing from Rebels. So,
see, that's what I was like. I'm confused because the people I've read and listened to, I mean, they know their Rebel stuff. So I don't know. I don't understand where they are getting this idea from.
Yeah. So I don't know. it'd be interesting to know. Like I said,
or
I have
if there's something that you and I just are totally misunderstanding,
which that's always a possibility. So that's 9 out of 10 times that's actually the thing. But
and I meant to actually do some research before we got on the show.
Yeah.
But I'm lazy and didn't do it.
Well, and that's really the theme of the show, right?
Lazy and didn't do it. Yeah.
Didn't do it. I mean, that's the quality of show that we bring every week for you folks, because you don't pay us anything.
If you paid us, we might
we
harder.
might work harder. We might, have time to do, top quality broadcasting. But you know what? Nothing. Okay. Come on now. You heard, half of the podcast crap out there. Come on, man. They have sponsors.
Well, this is true.
Come on. I'm not angry. This is the angry show. I'm trying to be hateful so that way we get some listeners. This is not, I don't know. But, are we going to hear more about, we didn't talk about the Prodigy. We didn't Hera's son, which is
the progeny.
Yeah, the progeny, prodigy, or is it prodigy?
Progeny is like your children.
Oh yeah.
Prodigy is like somebody who is naturally gifted at something.
But Prodigy used to be one of the first online services next to AOL. So let's get that straight.
You are correct.
So anyway, the kid who doesn't have a tail like his mom, so or the dreadlocks or whatever the things that she has. More basically, she tells her mom, I want to be a Jedi, of course his father was a Jedi, so, which I like to hear a little bit about that a little bit. I was kind of hoping there'd be a little bit. So I don't want this to be, yes, people I'm hating. I don't want this to be the Sabine show. Okay. There's so many other great characters. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to hear about, Hera and her lost love that saved their lives, and now they have a child. I want a little more of that. I want more meat. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. Folks, if you listen to me and I'm complaining too much, I'm sorry. But if chime in on the comments,
absolutely.
If you're a fan of Rebels,
what you have to say.
If you're a fan of Rebels, like I am, it's just, there's just too much good stuff that can be in this. And I just don't want this to be just an entire master and apprentice thing, which it is. It's going to be that way. It's already what we've seen, but there's so much. Yeah.
And it's a live action show. So, when you pay Rosaria Dawson millions of dollars per episode, you have to have her on screen.
Well, no, it's called Ahsoka, which is fine. I like Ahsoka.
You don't want it to be the Sabine Wren show.
No, I don't. And I have nothing against the actors. I have nothing against the character. It's just becoming too much of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. That is kind of an oddity, is, when you have a master and apprentice, the show feels like it's about the apprentice.
Yes.
That is a thing, and that is a thing. I don't disagree.
I wanted to see Ahsoka. I wanted to see her and all her bad. I can't say the word. I guess we'll get bleeped, but but just, that's what I want to see. I want her kicking some butt,
we got to see her go out in space and swing some lightsabers this week.
She did do that. She did do a little, Rey Skywalker in space there. So that was pretty cool.
I will say, this may have been the best space battle I've seen in the Disney Plus series shows.
I agree with that. I will totally agree with that.
Because, I mean, there haven't been a whole lot.
No, there haven't.
Few that there have been haven't been fantastic. You know, there's one decent one in The Mandalorian that I can recall.
Yeah.
But it didn't last very long, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't amazing, but it was
That's
good.
what I want. I want a huge space battle. I want to see I want to see the New Republic fleet, that awesome, theatrical look of that, we saw, and then, and thinking, yeah, they're together. They're going to do something great. No, we're not going to do it, Jimmy, because we don't want to do it. And,
this falls into what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Is this show going to make sense end to end?
Yes.
And have a big, huge finale that we want to see?
Yes. I want to see a battle.
Is it going to be a big cliffhanger to a movie that's not going to be produced for 2 or 3 years?
That would such be a bummer. That would be. I would delete every one of these podcasts. I would delete all the Ahsoka podcasts. And I love Ahsoka. I love the character. Man, I felt like I had some therapy tonight. Felt like I had some major issues to resolve. Oh my goodness.
Well, if you disagree with us, definitely let us know in the comments, because we want to know. We're curious.
Yeah, I'm curious.
We have no idea. Honestly,
No, I don't.
We throw out these ideas.
Yes.
We talk about things we hear other people say. And, we're in the same boat that you are.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat that they are. They are just less honest. They say they are convinced and they're right. We go, here's what we heard. Here's what we think.
That's what we think.
We are probably wrong.
Exactly. And again, I'm the one who preaches this the most. You can't really tell much of a series until you see the whole thing, because it's like a movie. And so I'm hoping
this is 8 episodes.
Yes,
so based on film structure,
yes,
we're really probably not done with Act 1.
No, I don't think so. So you have time. We have time to redeem yourself. So,
anything else?
That's it. I think I think I've ranted in enough like it is, and I think people are tired of hearing us or hearing me. So no, and anyway, next week, believe it or not, we will still be covering Ahsoka. It will be episode 4. Yep. And I really love the character Ahsoka. So if I'm passionate about it, because I think she deserves the kudos and the props that she deserves, I think this is a great cast. Okay. I really like this cast, and I think they're doing a really fine job. And I really want to see some more Rebels, some more backstory. And I'm really excited for seeing, Mickelson playing Thrawn. So, so anyway, folks, you can go to our website, speakingnerdy.com. There we have all our podcasts. You can go to our store. We have, our videos, all that good stuff. You go directly to youtube.com/speakingnerdy. You can also go to any, like your Spotify or any of your audio podcast apps, and we're going to be on there. So check us out there. And we also have our own Facebook page as well, Speaking Nerdy. Yep. You can also, if you want to be part of the group, we also have a group as well. Just make sure you answers the questions, and one of our moderators will let you in and greet you through the door. Do you anything else, sir?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, let's let out the whales and say sayonara, sushi, whatever.
This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe.
Ahsoka.
Okay, now that we're none of this stuff is going to be seen, what do you really think?